So just introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Hi everyone, my name's Ryan. I'm from South Africa. I'm 30 years old. I've been now in China for 4 years. This is currently my second job in China, my second city in China, so that's good.
Okay, so how long have you been at this school for, at Best Promise?
18 months.
Okay.
18 months.
So why did you decide to teach English?
Well, first of all, I decided to teach English because I come from South Africa, where it's very hard for us to get a job. So I decided, let me pursue my career into another path. So then I decided, okay, we were originally thinking of going to Russia and Korea. And I said, okay, let me just come here for a year. You know, everyone's famous saying, let me just try it for a year. And my first year in China, I really liked it. You know, I thought, okay, this is really a passion I could get into. And then my first year became my second year, third year, now going to my fourth.
Okay. So why did you choose China? Like you could have chose Japan, you could have chose South Korea.
Well, China at the time was the one that wanted me and my girlfriend here like now. Korea and Japan, they were like, okay, sure, but we only need someone maybe in 6 months. So we just said we wanted to leave, we wanted to go now. And China's so convenient for everything. You know, it's livable, it's cheap, the salaries are good, you can save money, you can go on holiday to many places because it's kind of central to where you want to go. Mm-hmm. So that's why.
What's the most rewarding thing about teaching English?
The most rewarding thing for teaching English for me, I would say, is the fact, especially when you have the little kids, and they know nothing. They don't even know hello, goodbye. They're like parrots. If you say hello, they say hello. If you say, what's your name? They say, what's your name? Then after a year, you've seen that progress. Mm-hmm. You say, oh, how old are you? Oh, I'm 6. What do you like to eat? I like hamburgers and pizza. And that's amazing that you've seen them grow from nothing to being like a bird, just copying your movements, your actions, to they can actually have a small conversation with you.
And they actually understand.
They understand. So it's not, especially here, we don't like to teach parrot teaching. We don't like to say, oh, green. They must say green, green. We like to spread it out a little bit, stories, reading. And by the end of the semester, after a year, sure, they're not fluent in English, but they are much better than what they were. And that for me is the rewarding part.
Okay. Would you recommend Best Promise English? And why?
I would recommend Best Promise English because first of all, they look after you. Mm-hmm. If there's any problem, say with visas or things that you're not happy with, they're always trying to accommodate you. If you have something in your contract that you say, okay, look guys, I'm not happy with this, or can we change it up? They're always willing to change it up for you. They won't just say, no, that's the contract, that's that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what's your absolute favorite thing about China?
The ability to travel, because it's so cheap from here. So because you're earning quite a large, substantial amount of money, and your apartment is not a lot because you get a free apartment from school. Mm-hmm. You can go to like Vietnam or Thailand or Bali, and it's like really cheap compared to if I had to fly from South Africa. Mm-hmm.
So Chinese food, you gotta like Chinese food.
Chinese food is something that takes some time to get used to.
Okay.
For me personally, I'm not a big fan of Chinese food. I eat it sometimes, depending on what kind of food you like. It's really different for each person. Some guys, I have a lot of American friends here, they love the Chinese food. Mm-hmm. See, where I come from, South Africa, we're really a meat-based country. So here in China, it's a lot of starchy-based things and spicy. Mm-hmm. So if you like spicy, come to China.
What's your favorite dish?
Here in Qingdao, my favorite dish is there's a sweet and sour pork called Tong Du Li Tu, something like that. That is our favorite dish, definitely.
So, what's your most memorable class moment? It doesn't have to be at this school, but what moment sticks out to you?
I think my most memorable moment for classes was my first year in China. My first ever class that I ever taught. Coming here to China, getting them. They were scared of me. I'm a foreigner. I didn't know. I was a bit scared of them. They were Chinese, so I wasn't used to the class interaction. And then at the end of the year, the parents coming to me and saying, good job, Ron. You really, my kids know English a little bit better now. Thank you. And it was that feeling of fullness.
Appreciation.
You've done something good. The parents are crying when they're getting the certificates, and you even get a little tear. You're like, thank you.
That's awesome. So last question. Use one word to describe your career in ESL so far.
One word. Fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic. It went from nerve-wracking to unpredictable to once I knew what I was going to do, then it's got better and better and better. And in China, obviously, the more experience you have, the more benefits you get here. Mm-hmm. They definitely reward you like that. So, fantastic. Definitely.
Okay. That's all I got for you.
Thank you, man.
Perfect.
All
right, thanks for allowing me to interview you.
You're welcome.
All right, so introduce yourself.
Okay, hi, I'm Lewis. I'm from England. I'm 25 years old. I've been in China for 1 year and 5 months.
Okay. So why did you choose to teach English?
I love English. I did creative writing at university, so I've got a background in English, in writing, in language, so it just felt like a natural step to start teaching it to people, to children.
Okay, so why did you choose China?
I just heard a lot of good things about it. It was very cheap, good people.
Okay.
That was alright,
So would you recommend Best Promise English and why?
I would. Everybody's been very supportive, very good to me. I've made so many new friends, Chinese friends, foreign friends, so I would recommend it. Everyone is such a family. I love teaching, I love the kids, so I would.
Okay, what's your favorite thing about living in China?
My favorite thing? The freedom. No family, nobody to tell you what to do. You can just do anything. You're completely independent, constantly growing as a person, having an adventure.
Okay. What's your favorite food in China?
I think they're called xiaolongbao.
What's that?
Xiaolongbao, it's like a meat bun.
Oh, okay.
It's like a bread with like some beef inside. It's really nice.
Okay, and last question. Use one word to describe your career in teaching English.
Formative.
Formative.
Formative. It shapes me as a person. And I'll always remember it. It's an important chapter.
Cool, that's it.
Okay.
Alright, so just introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Gary, I'm 35, and I am from Scotland.
From Scotland?
Absolutely.
You're the first Scottish English teacher I've met.
Oh yeah?
Not too many.
Yeah, there's actually not too many of us.
No.
There's a very, very small Scottish community here in Qingdao.
So how long have you been at this school for?
Just over a year, so 13 months. 13 months, yeah.
Okay. Why did you decide to teach English?
Right, okay, so originally I did a TEFL course way back in 2009 because my friend had moved out to Korea. Through different circumstances, I didn't pursue that. Like, as in the sense that after 2009, I got my TEFL, and then career paths changed. So, come 2016, I had just spent a year living in Canada, and I went back to the UK, and I was a little bit stuck for what's next. And I contacted a friend who I knew had just moved out to China, and he said, would you ever consider taking up teaching? And I said, well, there's a kid.
Yeah, just hold on a second. That should be good.
And I said, well, I thought of that years ago, but I never, as I said, took it on. And he said, well, if you'd like to come out here, I can get you a job. So 2016, I moved out here to a place called Qingdao, and originally it was just for 1 year, just for a new experience. And it's 3 years later, I'm still out here.
So why did you choose China?
Well, like I said, just because I had a friend. Now, I travelled Asia before, but I knew China would be like a different environment to Southeast Asia. And knowing that I had a friend there kind of was more comforting. That I would be going to work and live with a friend. That was the main reason.
Okay. So what's the most rewarding thing about teaching English?
To see progress, to see the kids progress, because a lot of the time here they come in and it's zero. You know, if they know letter A, B, you're lucky. And so after 12 months, you can then engage into a small conversation with them. You know, and they can ask you questions, and it's rewarding to see that with yourself, the parents, and the help of the other teachers, you went from nothing to something, and that's a nice feeling.
Okay. So would you recommend Best Promise English, and why?
I would recommend it for a good starting point for people who would be interested in experiencing new culture and a completely new environment of what they'd be used to, say back home in America, UK, Canada. This is something for adventurous people who like to come out to China, and Best Promise can open up the platform for you, and give you a starting point, definitely.
Okay. What's your favorite thing about living in China?
The favorite thing about living in China, initially it was the warm reception that the people would give foreigners. You know, it was very strange for me to be people to come up to me in the street and ask for photographs. It's like, what? And then you'd go into certain places, and you'd be complimentary drinks just because you were foreigners and stuff. That was very strange initially, but I think now there's just my favorite part is discovering new cities in China. I love to travel around it, so I like experiencing new places, and because it's such a huge, vast country, I've only scratched the surface,
So what's your favorite Chinese food?
My favorite kind of Chinese foods would be from the province of Qingdao, which is more like barbecue type food. Like big barbecue skewers and naan breads. That would be, for me, my favorite type of Chinese food.
Okay. What's your most memorable moment in class?
In class? Oh, jeez, that's a question I don't know. I think my most memorable moment was when I left my first job, and the parents were, all giving me like lovely gifts and taking photographs, and it was nice to see that actually I had touched them, and I'd been welcomed by them, because they were genuinely sad to see me go. Because blah blah blah, keep in touch, and that was a nice moment. The kind of seeing
that you appreciate.
Yeah, that's the word. Thank you.
Okay. Last one. It's kind of a fun one.
Okay.
Use one word to describe your career teaching English.
Primitive.
Primitive. Why primitive?
The new first time, new adventure.
Oh, okay.
So.
That's fun. Okay, that was it.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, so just to start, introduce yourself, your position at the school.
Hi, my name is Eric Nielsen. I'm the Senior HR Manager for Best Promise English. So I'm in charge of sort of dealing with the Chinese management side and any problems that come up with the foreign teachers, and just making sure that there's a good relationship between both sides and everybody ends up happy.
Okay. What kind of person are you looking for to be a teacher?
We're looking for people that are very outgoing, good with kids, just people that can provide a positive learning atmosphere for our students.
Okay. Why should teachers pick your school over other schools?
Well, one of the reasons that Best Promise is so successful as far as teaching recruitment and just providing a good atmosphere for our teachers is because we're a company that's been well established. We were founded in the year 2000, so we've got 18, 19 years of experience under our belt at this point. So we are well aware of all of the complications that can come up that a lot of new schools tend to have some difficulties with. So we can provide that sort of experienced atmosphere for our teachers, and so they know that there's not going to be any issues with their paycheck or anything like that. They're not going to get paid late. They're going to get what they've been told in the interview coming in. But we're also not one of those giant corporations that tends to treat people as a number. So it is private, family-owned company. So we do have that sort of personal connection with our employees, as well as being big enough to be stable, but small enough to actually still have good interpersonal relationships with our employees.
Okay. How big are class sizes?
So we have a maximum of 12 students per class. So sometimes it could be 3 students, anywhere up to 12.
Okay. So every classroom has a teacher and a teacher's assistant, correct?
Yes, every classroom has a teacher and a teacher's assistant. All of the teachers' assistants do have a degree in English from a Chinese university, so they are qualified to sort of understand what you're saying and help in sort of any situation that comes up that requires translation on the part of the teachers. So it does not require the teacher to have any knowledge of Chinese coming into the job.
Okay. So what is the most important quality for a teacher to have?
Well, a big part of it is just responsibility and the ability to sort of adapt to Chinese culture. That way that they can be happy with living in an atmosphere that they may not have grown up in or be comfortable with to begin with. Just sort of the ability to adapt, but also the ability to take their job seriously and still enjoy their time in China.
All right, so day one, teacher arrives at the airport. What happens next?
Okay, so when they arrive at the airport, we send someone out to the airport to pick them up. So we pick you up right at the arrival gate from the airport. Then we take you to a hotel. So you get one week of hotel stay. And during that week, we take you to get a Chinese SIM card for your telephone. We take you to open up a bank account so that you can have your direct deposit ready to go. And then we also take you apartment hunting. Before you actually arrive, what we do is for most people, so we have 2 options as a way to go for the apartment. One of them is to just take the sort of basic apartment accommodations that the school offers, and we do that for free. But that does tend to not necessarily be the best circumstance for all teachers. So, for example, if they have a kid or they're coming with their husband, they might not want a studio-size apartment. So what we do in that case is we provide a living stipend for the teacher, and then hook them up with a real estate agent. So the real estate agent, before your arrival, will ask you some questions about what kind of apartment you want, and then after you answer those questions, they'll go out, they'll find 3 apartments that they think are good for you, and when you arrive your first week staying in the hotel, so like I said, we get you set up with a bank account and a SIM card, and then we kind of go apartment hunting.
Okay. This is the number one question people ask me, is how do you teach English without speaking Chinese?
So I think we already covered that a little bit with the question about the TAs. So because a TA is provided who has a degree in English, they can help you in any sort of situation that comes up that requires translation. As far as day-to-day life, that can be a little bit more difficult, not speaking any Chinese, but there is a significant amount of the Chinese population that does speak some level of English, and then you can also use apps like Google Translate or Baidu Translate or something like that to kind of help you out with day-to-day grocery shopping experiences or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a redundant question, but that's what people ask me all the time. Okay. You kind of talked about this one, but how do you help the teacher get used to Chinese society?
Okay, so yeah, like I said, we help you get settled in with the bank account, everything like that. Also, you are going to have just foreign teachers that already work at your school that may have been there from anywhere from 1 to 7 years or something like that, and then have a good knowledge of the area, of the local area, because they work in the same environment you do, and they can kind of help you get settled in a little bit. We also do provide sort of an interpreter for you, so you can contact us if there's any specific problem that comes up with, say for example, your landlord and there's a problem with the electricity or the plumbing or something like that. We are there to help in those kinds of situations as well.
Why should people teach English?
Well, I find that a lot of people, including myself, have found that it's an extremely rewarding experience. It's a way for you to get to travel the world, learn other cultures, make money while you're doing it, and make a difference in children's lives at the same time. So it is something. Hold on.
No worries.
Hello?
So why should people teach English?
Well, myself included, I started off as an English teacher several years ago. I find that it's just an overall experience that is very formative when it comes to just the rest of your life. I mean, I can't even imagine what my life would be like right now if I hadn't taught in China. It's a way for you to get paid, pay off student debt, experience different cultures. It gives you the opportunity to practice language in a native environment over here in China. If you are interested in learning Chinese, you're making a difference in children's lives, you're making money, and you're seeing the world. So it's just a really great way to sort of experience what the world has to offer and still make some good money at the same time.
Okay. Let's go this. No, that's awkward. Right there. Okay, so why should people choose China over South Korea or Japan?
One of the things that people really like about China is because of the mandatory government testing for children to learn English. It has become a very, very high demand skill within Chinese society. So therefore, because of the high demand in the skill, Chinese companies can offer very, very competitive salaries compared to the rest of Asia. Also, because a lot of these Chinese companies, the ESL teaching is through private companies and not through government institutions. Like, for example, most of the ESL teaching in Japan is done through an actual government sort of study abroad agency, which does tend to increase the amount of paperwork and a lot of the headaches that are involved in doing that. There's also a big difference between Chinese culture and, say, South Korean culture or Japanese culture. So it is something that you would want to do a little bit of research in as far as sort of which culture interests you the most. But the Chinese history going back 5,000 years, there's a lot of history and culture here to be experienced.
Okay. I think that's good. All right, so let's talk about the summer placement job that you're looking for experienced teachers.
Okay, yes, we are looking for 1 to 2 qualified, actual certified teachers that have been certified in North America or England, for example, and then they are primary school teachers. And so we're looking for teachers that over their 2-month break with whatever public school they work at. I know a lot of those teachers tend to like to travel during that 2-month break period anyway, so we're looking for 1 to 2 teachers to come over and just sort of standardize our lesson plan between, as we have 9 locations, someone to come in and sort of standardize the lesson plan between all 9 of the schools, and then sort of just give some feedback and some advice to some of the teachers over here using the experience that you have as a certified teacher. Maybe some suggestions, maybe things that you've learned while doing your education degree or something like that.
Okay. I think that's it.